Hi, how's it going? Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to share my most beautiful, in my opinion, of course, my most beautifully illustrated nonfiction books from our bookshelf. And every single one of these books I've used in my daughter's homeschool education. I kind of separate them in a few different categories, yet for the most part, they're just kind of in one big giant category. This video is probably gonna be very long. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I've used these books from kindergarten all the way through 4th grade, and I don't have a lot of room on my bookshelf, so I'm an avid book, what do you call it? I'm always going through my shelves and getting rid, donating and reselling books that I don't find useful. So all of these books are books I really love. And yeah, so let me get started. So the first 3 books were the books that I thought you could use as a standalone curriculum, in my opinion, because I pretty much did that with these books. I don't remember if it was 1st or 2nd grade, but I used this book for science. It's Seeing Science, an Illustrated Guide to the Wonders of the Universe, and by Iris Scott Leib. And so I really like this book. I really don't know if this is even a kid's book. It's published by Chronicle, and it's based, life science, earth science, and physical science, so 3 sections of 3 parts of science. And then I just really like the illustrations, and I say that you can use this book as a spine or a standalone book, but you can always add in other books, which is what we did. But I thought it was a nice basis for, when you're in elementary school, you're kind of learning about different types of science. And so I was really drawn to this book for just teaching a variety, of science just in one book, because when you're in this age, it's just kind of like making science fun by just, piquing their interest and things like that. So I really like books that have a variety of types of science in one book, and yet is visually stimulating. And that's what this book was for us. And this is one of my favorite books on the shelf. And that's why I wanted to start with this book. I really love this book. Some of the concepts in here are more advanced. It's not like my daughter obviously understood every single thing. Not that I do either. Even as an adult, science isn't my thing for understanding it. But, it's I just really liked it. So yeah, I really do recommend this book by Chronicle, Seeing Science. Next book is if you want to use one book to teach geography. This is a book I recommend. One of the books I recommend. This is My World by Lonely Planet Kids. Meet 84 kids from around the globe. So this book we used one year alone. I think, we had our maps book that I used with it, but we used just this book for geography, and it also has this map in the beginning, and it has little dots for everywhere that they show that a child lives. And so pretty much is every continent. Let me see. Is it every? I don't know about. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3. Well, not Antarctica, of course, because, humans aren't living on Antarctica. But yeah, so it's a 2-page spread of a child. And my daughter really loved this book because you're getting to see an actual photograph of a child, some of their favorite things, stuff in their city. And it's a real good way to connect, a real good way to, understand how other kids live. And there's another series like this from, I think, DK. It's very similar. I forgot the name of it. I think we had it when she was in kindergarten. But this one was my favorite that I've personally come across. But I know there are other books like this. But I really like this one from Lonely Planet. And then it has a little, globe. And then it has little X and then the country's flag. So you can, break out the map and do additional. So yeah, let me just keep moving. I know this video is going to be, I know it's already going to be really long. But yeah, I really love this book by Lonely Planet Kids. Okay, and then the third book I picked, which could, in my opinion, be used as a standalone spine for a curriculum, using teaching without a curriculum, just like with books, is DK, A Child Through Time, a book of children's history. So this book you can use for history, and it starts with early civilizations, classical, medieval, early modern, and then modern period. So we did end up using this book, I think, I don't remember if it was 3rd grade or we kind of used it as we went on from ancient all the way to modern history. I didn't really pull it out as much this year, but that's because, I don't know, we were kind of just focusing on listening to the audiobook and reading along. We're doing Curiosity Chronicles, but I really did use this book in the past, and I really like it. And at the bottom it has like a timeline, and it keeps going. And so this book, it's an illustrated kid. Teresa has like a name of different child and like different things that child would have, experienced during the time period. So I really love this book. I need to get it out actually and catch back up, because we stopped in medieval. So this video reminds me to get it out and keep it out, because we still haven't got to, we're right now we're in early modern history and Curiosity Chronicles, so we're going to still use it. So I love that book. Okay, that was like my top 3 picks for if you're like kind of looking for a book is a strong contender for like a spine or something, like to use in place of like a curriculum. Okay, so now my second category is interactive books. So these are really great if you have a child, I would say pretty much any age that, from like, 5 all the way to high school. If you have a child that really is like visual learner or really likes interactive books to keep their attention or something like that. Okay, so the first one is Encyclopedia Prehistorica Dinosaurs. It's by Kennewick Press, and it's just a really pretty pop-up book. And it has a lot of lift the flaps, little additional, it's like the pop-ups are really layered, which I haven't seen a lot of books like this, where it's like a lot of just cool pop-ups and information. And so you can just read a lot of different, like you could do like one section a day if you want to use it for like a dinosaur unit, or you could just let your child kind of play around with it, read it. Even if your child's not reading yet, they could still just visually, engage with it. And then you could go back and they could read it when they're a little bit older, or you could read it to them. Yeah, so I love pop-up books. Yeah, so that was the first interactive book that I really love. Beautiful. And then the second one is another one by Lonely Planet Kids. This is Build Your Own History Museum. 5 amazing pop-ups. So this one is really interactive because your child gets to like help construct the pop-ups. And it has like all the ancient all the way to like the Vikings, and then where rise and fall where in the world. So yeah, it's like more ancient history. And so here's like Mesopotamia, and it has like this pop-up. And yeah. And this one, these move. So not all of them are pop-ups, but some are just like little interactive things. Like that just sticks in there. And it's like you're getting to construct your own museum. And then read about it. So yeah, I really like this one. She was really excited to put this together. It's almost like your child gets to pretend like they're like a museum curator and setting everything up. And then we did this book in sections. Like we did like, as we got to the Maya, as we got to each area, like, place that we were studying, or, groups of people, we would get this book out, and we kind of used this book the whole year when we were studying ancient history. So that's the second interactive. And then the third one is Pirates Magnified. This is by Wide-Eyed, which is under the publisher, I think it's under the publisher Quarto, which Quarto publishes a lot of cool books. Let's see. Yeah, it's under Quarto. Quarto knows. Okay, so this is Pirates, and it has a magnifying glass. I always have trouble getting this out. Okay, it has a magnifying glass, and then you get to use it in an interactive way to find like, the things, like 10 things to spot. So yeah, it's very interactive, and then you get to learn about it. Okay, so that's Pirates Magnified, and I believe they have a few other ones in this series. And then this one is The Street Beneath My Feet. Yuval Zomer illustrated it, and the publisher is Words and Pictures. So this one is interactive because it opens vertically. It's gonna be hard to show on the camera, but you guys can see like it opens really long. So I had my daughter do this like in the living room because the table, the table wasn't even long enough. So she was able to do this, and it's also double-sided. So this we used in our archaeology unit. Or earth science, we used it during earth science and archaeology. So yeah, so it's double-sided and really cool. Sedimentary, so rocks and, So yeah, so that is The Street Beneath My Feet. And I believe they have one of The Sky by the same publisher. Maybe like The Sky Above My Eyes or something like that. I'm not, but yeah, they have another one. And then this is another one by Lonely Planet Kids. This is The Incredible Cabinet of Wonders. 100 Little Doors to the Weird and Wonderful from the World's Great Museum. So these are actual items that are in real museums across the world. And it actually lists the museum that it's in. So if you're lucky enough to go to these museums, you could actually find the stuff in this book. And so yeah, it's just really cool, and it has like different sections. Like this is an archaeologist cabinet, and it's lift the flaps. Careful, dinosaur egg. And then this is a doctor's cabinet. It tells you where to see it. This is a science museum in London. It's from 1927, prosthetic arm. So you could, this I just got my daughter for fun. She checked it out at a library, and she just always remembered it, and she was like, oh, can you buy me that book? And I was like, sure. And so I got it for her, and she just really loved it. Sailor, scientist, toy maker's cabinet. Really cool. So this book you could just look through forever, like for years. And then Usborne, Lift the Flaps. So Usborne has like a million lift the flaps, and they're all great. And this one is grammar and punctuation. And yeah, so I just really love it. Like, I usually kind of like more muted colors, but I think this book, the design is done really well. And we actually use this for a grammar, to learn grammar with. And I think second grade, we just did like one type of, like we did like one page once a week until we got to the end of the book. We did like a page, like we did like nouns for like 1 or 2 weeks. And then we kind of just did, read it, and then we did other things with nouns and things like that. So I actually used this in our curriculum. Kind of like do my own curriculum for the most part. I do buy people's curriculum, but then a lot of times I just kind of end up using books. I guess that's kind of like my thing about my homeschool category, I guess you would say. We're like book basket people. Like we kind of gather books, and then we read them and look at the pictures, and then that's how we learn. And so yeah, I don't know if you'd call it eclectic. I don't really know, but we're definitely book people. And yeah, so A Celebration of Language and Curiosities, the Hello World. So this my daughter is actually using right now in 4th grade. This is a language book. It basically has hello in all these different languages, and it's interactive because it's lift the flap, and it's really neat. Sorry, I need to move a lot of these books. Sorry if this is crooked. I'm going to move them in a second. This is Europe. So every day she picks a new way to say hello. She says it out loud, and then she writes it in her journal. So this is just kind of something she does for fun. It's just a way to get exposed, to different languages. To different, words in different languages. Hello, South America. Really nice. This is one of my favorite books that we have for 4th grade. Asia, Hello, Africa. And it's really cool. And it's really pretty. So yeah, there's that one. And then this one is a Shine a Light book. These are like always checked out in my library. This is the only one that we own, and I'm sure a lot of parents are probably familiar with these, but if you aren't, they're really cool. You have to read them at night or in the dark, dark room, because Dinosaur Shine a Light book, and you use a flashlight behind the page, and it has like a secret picture. So yeah, it says take a look, and then you shine the flashlight if you're not familiar behind it, and it's very interactive, because you get to see what's on the back of the page through the flashlight, and it's a really fun way to learn. They have a lot of these, and yeah, so this is the only one we have. I'm always trying to check them off in the library. They're like always checked out, and I usually just kind of forget about. I don't reserve them, and then I just forget about them, but they're really cool. I would say these are a little bit maybe more for younger kids, but my daughter still, at 9, she still likes it. Okay, so here's another Usborne. This is Fold Out Solar System. So we did this book during our solar system unit, and it literally is a giant fold out, solar system, and it's double-sided. So this was just kind of fun for her to open up and, put on the floor and just kind of look at it and stuff like that, and go through it as we got to each, planet and things like that. We kind of used this a lot. So that's Usborne Fold Out Solar System. And then another Usborne, is Usborne Lift the Flap Periodic Table. Again, I really like the way this is illustrated. It's very bright and colorful. And it has like the same theme of the lift the flap as the grammar one I showed you guys. These are just really nice. Find that you can use these and get a lot of information out of them, even though they don't have like as many pages, as maybe like a different book, but it's the lift the flaps, I guess, count for pages. It kind of equals, So yeah, so this one's really nice. And we're going to be using this one for 5th grade. I think we're going to be focusing a lot on like the physical world, so we're definitely going to be using this one. And then the last interactive book I have, not the last in the video, but the last interactive, is Illuminatomy. And it is also by Wide Eyed. And this one, you get out this little lens that helps you see the skeleton in red, and then the muscles in green, and then the organs and blood vessels through the blue. And so this one is very interactive. We did this one when we did the our human body unit, and so it's really cool. I don't know, it's crazy how they come up with all these cool ideas for books that I didn't have when I was a kid. Oh, I love this book. So yeah, it's really cool to see the different parts of the body. Sorry if you can't see it. It's really big. But yeah, so let me just go through it. So that is Illuminatomy. And then I know that they have other ones too. I think they have like a plant one. I'm not sure what else, but I think I saw a plant one. Okay, so my next group of books is just like random, just straight off my shelf, not any particular category at all. Yeah, so this one is the Dictionary of Difficult Words, and the publisher is Francis Lincoln. So this book has just been one of my favorite books throughout the years. I don't remember if we used it in 3rd grade vocabulary, but I really love it. She would just pick a different word every day from this book, and she would either write it on a whiteboard or the chalkboard and make a sentence with it, or I would have her do it orally sometimes, but it's just for word exposure. Just a really beautiful way. I love the illustrations. They're really whimsical. It really is a lot of words that I never heard of and that she was able to be exposed to. So that's the first one. And then the second one we used this year for 4th grade in our animals unit, zoology, for the whole year with a Blossom and Root, Animal Kingdom. This is Reptiles Everywhere by Big Picture Press. And this book is also kind of fairly short for a nonfiction book, but It has like a good amount of information. It doesn't say the pages. Maybe it's actual picture book size. That's like usually 32, but nonfiction picture books are usually more than 32. A lot of times they're like 48 or even 60. But still, I really didn't find a lot of books on reptiles at all. So this was my favorite one that I did find, and my daughter really liked it. Let's take a two. So that's Reptiles Everywhere. And this is a big one. This is also by Lonely Planet Kids. Gods, Goddesses, and Heroes, Mythology from Around the World. And so this one we used when we were just learning about different countries and mythology. And I think we used a little bit for like ancient history. We're studying like Greek gods and things like that. I really like the illustrations. So that's that one. And here's another one from Wide Eyed. This is a Rocking Book of Rocks, and we used this when we did our geology unit in the past. This one has a lot of pages. It's like 95-ish pages, like over 90 pages. I love that. I love the way they painted. Well, I'll say painted. I love the way they did the illustrations. I'm not sure if it's paint or digital. I think it's probably digital, but I like the way they did it. So pretty. A Cat's Guide to the Night Sky. This is, I believe it's Lawrence King. Yeah, Lawrence King is the publisher. So this one we used when we did our astronomy unit. I really like it because it's really quirky and cute with the cat. I like how it has a little layout of like what you need. Obviously, you know, it's like, you know, you don't really need all that stuff, but I like layouts. They're really cute. It's like maybe if you really wanted to be an astronomer, you would need that stuff. It's just kind of fun. And then the next one is a book we're also using right now for 4th grade with Blossom and Root. This is Bones, an Inside Look at the Animal Kingdom, also by Big Picture Press. I've had you can see a theme with the publishers. I usually am drawn towards a lot of books published by the same publishers. It's all about the bones of animals and what different animals' bones are made for, with biting and digging and grasping, holding weight, you know, all the different things. So my daughter, we actually didn't have enough time to go through this as an oral read. We started it a little bit, and then she continued it as part of her reading. On Fridays, she reads nonfiction only, and pretty much Monday through Thursday, she reads fiction. And then on Fridays, she pretty much read this book. I think it took her maybe 3 Fridays. And then she reads for 35 minutes, and she was able to finish it on her Friday reading. And this was one of the books that I pretty much select her nonfiction reads that she can choose from. It usually pertains to what we're studying, and this is one of those books that she finished on her own because I thought it was really good information I really wanted her to learn this stuff, and she really liked it. Here's another one. A lot of these are this is another one we're using right now for science. Kaleidoscope of Creatures, The Colors of Nature Explained. This will be another one that she'll be reading on I call them like nonfiction Fridays. It's by Wide Eyed. And this book, let's see how many pages. This one has like 60-ish pages. And it's like all the different colors and patterns of animals. Here's the animal family tree. It's really pretty. So this one is another one. We kind of flipped through it and, you know, read some things out loud, you know, orally while we were doing our curriculum together. But I thought it was too important of a book and too beautiful, so it's gonna be one of her nonfiction Friday choices, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna select it soon for one of her Friday reads. This next book is pretty large. It's called Extinct. Here is the publisher, Faden, An Illustrated Exploration of Animals That Have Disappeared. So this is another book I bought for 4th grade while we were studying zoology. And we started the year off when we read a little bit of it on the days we would do science, but we haven't gotten to the whole book, so this again will be probably one of her nonfiction Friday reads to finish. And it's really pretty. Professor Astrocat's Frontiers of Space. This is by Flying Eye Books. We actually read this book also together as pretty much our spine when we did our astronomy unit. I really liked this book as a spine. I think it worked really well. If I could only go back and buy one book when we did our astronomy unit, it would be this book. I really like the way they present the information. It's like just enough information, you know, on each 2-page spread, like about the universe, you know, birth of a star. You know, I felt like it was a really perfect amount of information that wasn't overwhelming. And yet we really were able to understand it and go through every page, go through the whole book. And then this one is a book we used when we did our dinosaur unit. This is Atlas of Dinosaur Adventures, again by the publisher Wide-Eyed. This one's just really pretty, and I love the background print. If you have a child that's interested in dinosaurs, this is a really nice book because it shows where the dinosaurs were discovered, the bones. It has a really nice map, and it's even divided by the, you know, areas that they were found in. I believe they have another book in this series. I don't know if it's maybe Animals, Atlas of Animal Adventures maybe. I think I saw another one. So really cool. And here's another large book. This is, sorry, shaking the whole, Trees, A Rooted History. This is by Abrams, is the publisher. I don't think we have a lot of books by Abrams. Another nice printed background. So we did a tree unit. So we did a tree unit, I believe in 1st or 2nd grade, and this was our pretty much our main book, I believe, one of them, for our tree unit. I even think some adults would like this book. It's kind of, I think, for older, maybe for older kids, but then you can still look at it with any age group as far as for reading it. But that's just, yeah, look at that. That's really cool. It's like all the different tools he uses. Building with wood. It has a lot of different things with wood. It's not just trees, which I think is very unique for a book about nature or trees. Like a lot of the books just, you know, focus on trees, but this has like a lot of different variation in it. Even a family tree. Okay. So the next two are books that I currently purchased. Let me show you the first one. I purchased these to use together. For our 4th grade geography. And so I guess I'll show this one. This is a 50 States by Wide-Eyed. And we use this book to actually, we used it twice. That's how much I like it. We used this book in 1st grade when we studied the 50 states. And then we're using it again right now in 4th grade geography. And if you want to see how I'm teaching geography, I have a video how I teach 4th grade geography, I believe, or I don't know if it's geography and history or just geography. I'll link it in the description. But I show everything I use with this book, but this is pretty much our spine, our main book that we use for geography. And we're wrapping up the states soon. We pretty much cover 1 or 2 states twice a week. And then soon we're going to start the next book I'm going to show you guys, which is the national parks. And I'm going to keep this book out. And then if we want to go back and talk about, where that national park is, I might break this book out again. Or we might get out our maps book, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. So this is the second part of our 4th grade geography. It's National Parks of the USA, also by Wide-Eyed. And this book, I'm using it not only to study the national parks, but to study geography, as in where the parks are located, and talking about the different states that the park is in, and we get to review, the geography of the United States. Really pretty. So the third book I have kind of for geography that I really love, that's really beautiful, is Maps. So we also use this book, and it's by Big Picture Press. So we also use this book for many years. We've been using this book, I think, since 1st grade. And we pretty much just use it as a reference for any time we're doing geography or history, and I want to show my daughter where a country is located. I get this book out, and I really love it. And it has vertical spreads too. And it's really large. Sorry, I know it doesn't fit in the whole frame. Really pretty. There's the US, Mexico. So the last book in this set, which is kind of just more random books, is this book. So this book is a little bit more picture bookish kind of than the other books, which are more educational text. This one is, I don't know, it's just like a poetic, beautiful, wordless nonfiction book called The Middle Passage by Tom Fillings. So we used this book this year for history, for learning about, slavery, and then the Atlantic Ocean, the Middle Passage. You can look at many, many times because it is wordless. It has, so pretty much shows the whole journey of enslaved people when they were being transported against their will. And it has some information in the beginning, if you read the introduction, about the author and from Tom Fillings himself, based on what his inspiration behind the book. So I did read some of that with my daughter, and then they have other intros from, I think, his son, and then some other people wrote about it. But the book itself is all wordless. And so to me, this was the first step in teaching my daughter about slavery, because we've been on ancient history, and then Middle Ages, and then early modern history, and we just got to the part in history where we started talking about slavery. So this was kind of like her first introduction to learning about slavery, and we're gonna go on to do more things with text, but I wanted her to see visually what people went through, and this I thought was a very powerful way for her to see the Middle Passage. So yeah, I think this is a very important book, and I kind of just stumbled upon it on Amazon, and I was looking for books on this subject. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I have one more category. Oh, thanks so much for watching to this point. I really appreciate it. So, if you're watching to this point, I know you really love books and you really love reading books like this and sharing them with your children or child. So we have a lot in common, so thanks. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this is Welcome to the Museum series. And actually I'm missing one. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I have 3 books in the Welcome to the Museum series. I have Animalium, Historium, and then I have the Story of Life Evolution. So this one's kind of like a mini one. So let me see. Let me go ahead and just show Animalium first because it's at the bottom. So these are my, I'm sorry if I didn't say that. So the last category are like sets, which are books that are kind of like in a series or very similar. So of course, Welcome to the Museum is a series. Then they have other ones. They have a plant one, and then they have like a human body one. They have a dinosaur one. And so I will be honest, and I will say that I haven't found these books useful for us when we're in our we're working on science or history. I really haven't found these books something I gravitate towards using in the actual curriculum itself, other than for visual references, because the text, and I don't know what the age group is on these. I mean, I'm sure it's very wide, range. I could see any a child from 5 all the way to a 120-year-old person liking this book. But I think they're a little bit more mature, in my opinion, than most of the books that we own, and that's not a bad thing. I have personally got these books out with, I was like, oh, I want to draw something with an animal. I might get this book out and use it for watercolor. My daughter has done that also. She really likes these books. She does go get them out while we're reading about animals and stuff like that, but for her it's more about the visual. We don't really focus on the text for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's just the way the format is. This is Historium, same series, really beautiful. We used this one loosely when we were studying ancient history. We kind of just archaeology. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I got this for our archaeology unit. And it has it's just meaning it is what it is, Welcome to the Museum. I guess that's why they're so sophisticated. I don't even know if these are made for kids. These might be made for adults. This says ages 8 to 12. Okay, so that is right at the beginning of my daughter's age. She's 9. She's about to be 10 though. But I don't really think age matters, but so I could see these really older kids liking these too, even older than 12, that's for sure. But yeah, so I guess because it's called Welcome to the Museum, that's why they're so sophisticated, because it is kind of like you're taking a trip through the museum with the, with the lettering, 15, and then you have to go back and read 15. Okay, here's a cylinder jar, 900 to 1130 CE. So it's just very, I don't know. Like I said, I think they're way more sophisticated, not in a bad way, but that's why, I say they could be for much older kids. So, but yeah, so there's that. Okay, so this one is the Story of Life Evolution. So this one's a tiny one, and not as big as the other ones, but it's still really beautiful. Okay, and then the next are 2 books that I have by the same author illustrator and the same publisher again. These are by 10 Speed, make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, 10 Speed Press, and they're both by the same author illustrator, and that is, I'm probably gonna say her name wrong. I always, Rachel, Ignotofsky. Okay, so I just made a video where I showed this book, so if you watch that one, sorry if it's redundant, but I had to include it in this video too because it's just really pretty. I love this book. It just highlights different women in science on 2-page spreads, and it's really pretty. I really like Some colors really pop out with the black background, like the blue and this pink. And let's see, they're all different. So this one we've used just throughout our science education. This one I actually bought for 4th grade, and we haven't got to it yet. This one I bought for Blossom and Root. I want to say it's one of her loosely based spines, because she says you don't have to, like, only the DK Animal book, I think, is the main spine for the Blossom and Root Wonders of the Animal Kingdom. But she recommended this book, I think, if you wanted to purchase it. So I went ahead and purchased it. And it's The Wondrous Workings of Planet Earth, Understanding Our World and Its Ecosystems. We haven't got to this book for 4th grade, but I'm including it because I think the illustrations are beautiful. And I think we're going to be getting to this towards the end of the year. We're going to be studying more of like biomes. Right now we're just studying individual animals and ecosystems, right? Which we're going to be studying. So yeah, classifications. So this book, I'd say, also is a little more sophisticated. Like, it kind of, the text is the way it's written. I think it's more geared for older elementary. If you're reading to your children, it really doesn't matter. But, like, my daughter will, at this point, be able to read this on her own. But I probably wouldn't have had her, read this on her own in, like, 2nd grade. But we can still read it together. And that's what we're going to be doing for 4th grade with it. So that was the second set of my favorite beautiful books. And then the third set is not really a series. Well, kind of is, but kind of is. I'm just going to show you guys. So these all I'm putting in one category because, like I said, they're not really like a series like those are. Well, a couple of them are. Let me show you them all at once to see what I mean. So these are DK's illustrated books. Now, DK has a lot of like photography, and DK has a lot of books with like a lot of like photography and text heavy. These are the DK illustrated books, which some do have some photography in them, but I don't necessarily think that they're like a series. Sorry if the table's shaking, but I don't know if these you call them a series, but I'm counting them as a series because DK has like Smithsonian, they have Eyewitness, which we have those too, but these are my favorite. They're the ones that are just kind of like, they're all the same size, like they fit together perfectly, and they're less photography heavy versus illustrator stuff, like illustrations. So these two, let's see if some of them have the same authors. These don't, but 2 of them are a series, like the first 2. Let me start with those to show you that these 2 are a series. Sorry, I bought these for 4th grade for our zoology studies. This is Up in the Air, Butterfly, Birds, and Everything Up Above. It's by different illustrators, but it's still by DK, and this is Under Your Feet, Soil, Sand, and Everything Underground. So I bought these both to go along with our animal studies this year. And these are also, we reviewed during the year together, like we will like cover a few pages in each. But then they're going to be moved to my daughter's Friday nonfiction stack because we don't have enough time, to cover every single option. So this is the first one. So I definitely want her to finish these on her own. And so yeah, it's really cool. Some vertical spreads. So they have like a little bit of photography, and I love photography, like don't get me wrong. But when it comes to certain formats of books, I either kind of like all photography or I like a lot of illustration with it mixed. But I'm really drawn to illustration when it comes to books for kids because I think it's very visually engaging, and you can do a lot of demonstration, with illustrations versus the photography is kind of standalone, if you want to call it that. So that's why I prefer DK's illustrated heavy books versus their photography heavy books for some reason. Under Your Feet. So this book has a lot to do with like earth science, but then it also has like things about animals, bugs and insects and things like that. So I want her to continue reading this because we mainly focused on the sections that had to do with like animals, like invertebrates, like when we talked about worms, we read this page together. But I really want her to finish it on her own because it has a lot of other things, you know. So this is DK, The Magic Mystery of Trees. And yeah, so it's part of their illustrated books that I really like. We used this when we did a tree unit. Has quite a bit of information in it. And so another book that I think kind of goes with that book, very similar, which I would call it kind of a series, is the Book of Brilliant Bugs. And we use this one in our entomology unit, I believe. Really pretty. So they do use photography and illustration. And then another, just one of their really most beautiful books that I found by DK is DK Nature's Treasures, Tales of More Than 100 Extraordinary Objects from Nature. And so this one has like the gold trim on the pages. And this one, like, I really just bought for my daughter to kind of look through. Here's the table of contents. But we don't use this one in the actual curriculum, but you could. But I just mainly got this book because I thought it was really pretty. I just thought it'd be a nice book for her to have. It's really nice information. Very easy to follow. Not too much information on each 2-page spread. I like that. There's different sections. Here's the plant section. All nature's treasures and minerals. So yeah, I really love this book. And this is another one of my favorites. Of course, they're all my favorites, but Life Cycles. We do get this book out a lot. I actually kept this book out for our 4th grade science. So it's all life cycles, everything from start to finish. They have another book. They have water cycles. And so it has different sections. So you could use this book to learn about all different types of science. And so right now we're using it a little bit for like animals, sports, seeds. It's like butterfly, shark, seahorse, frog, dinosaur, penguin, all these different animals. There's different, everything has a cycle. Orangutan. Okay, so Yuval Zomer, I mentioned him before. He illustrated another book I had. So these are the last 2 books I have. They're both by Yuval Zomer. And this is the Big Book of Bugs, and then this is the Big Book of Birds. And I believe he has the Big Book of Beasts. So I don't know if I got them both, but I got this one for sure. This is for 4th grade for zoology. We didn't have any books on birds. And she really was interested in one time, like, in studying birds. I forgot what the bird scientist is called. And so I really wanted her to explore that. She kind of has changed her mind again. Now she's more interested in engineering and architecture. But I really wanted her to learn more about birds, so this was a nice way to do it. It has like a very easy to access amount of information. Like, it's not overly stimulating with the text. I think this could work for like a younger age group and even for older kids. Okay, so the last book I have is a little companion, which is, instead of birds, bugs, The Big Book of Bugs. It's just another really whimsical, nice illustrated book by Yuval Zomer. And that will be my last book of the day from the most beautiful books on our shelves. So yeah, so that's it, you guys. I want to say thanks so much for watching, subscribing, liking. I really appreciate the support for my channel. It helps my channel grow. And yeah, I really love it. So I really appreciate it. Have a good day or night. Bye.